Hello, and welcome to the first proper year of Mossyclan, where it was actually pretty chill. I'm not really sure what else to say about that. Also, here I am in my warrior's form, or I guess kitty pet form, because I would never be able to be a warrior. I would be a kitty pet, just kind of watching the shenanigans, and basically like I'm doing with this. But anyway, we have new kits, new warriors, and just a lot of other different stuff. Because at the end of each year, I'm going to check people's relationships and see who has the strongest relationship and if they should be mates. And because of that, there's going to be a lot of kits, so I have turned Extinction events on, and yeah, that's about it. Just to be sure that, I don't have to draw so many cats, make things more interesting, because we're accepting everyone that comes in, we're just going to let kits happen. Flipstar even had kits for the first year, we'll get to that, and it's gonna be chaotic. So if a third of the population drops off in a moon, that'll stink, but it's not gonna be terrible in terms of keeping tabs on everybody. So no one died this year, not even the elders. Actually, I don't think anyone's an elder, but that's gonna change. I'm just assuming this is the year where they're actually incredibly lucky. Because Flipstar was like, oh, everyone was saying this is so bad, this is terrible. And it was actually pretty good. They are in for a surprise. First up is Flipstar, who is 45 moons now, and the only significant thing to happen to her is that, the first moon in, she's having 3 kits. Secretly. Which is interesting. And I'm assuming this was an event of where she met that mate and was swayed into a relationship, and then the minute the mate figured out that she was pregnant, the mate was like, yeah, no, I'm out, goodbye. Because, she's so naive and she didn't understand that because she's been a kitty pet her whole life up until this point. She didn't know about relationships because she never had one. So, it did kind of mess her up a little bit, and Quailpath is even a little bit concerned, but she is assuring her that everything's fine, and she's totally not a little bit uncomfortable with the whole situation. But outside of that, nothing's really happened to her. Everything's been pretty good. She's still pretty young for a leader at 45 moons, where previously she was about 3 years old, now she's closer to 4. But she's still doing a good job, and hopefully she has many more moons ahead of her. Next up is Quailpath, who has also not really done anything too different. I don't even think she was involved in that many things for, the moons. She is 90 moons now, and as her best friend to Flipstar, she is concerned for her, in the way that, a good friend would be concerned about her friend getting a partner, and just getting ditched when she got babies, that's concerning. How are you not concerned about that? And Flipstar insists that she's fine. Quailpath's still gonna keep tabs on her. Next up is Rhinos, who hasn't really been doing anything interesting, which is why this year's been so boring. Just kind of trucking along, doing her medicine cat thing. And then Finch came around, where he was a rogue that was like, I want to be a medicine cat, let me be a healer. And the clan, being accepting of everyone, as my rule, was like, alright. And he had joined basically pretty quickly, almost around the same time that Flipstar's son, Cougarpaw, joined in to be a medicine cat. So now there's 3 of them, which I guess works out because Rhinos is an elder and she might die at any point, which kind of sucks, but... And so Finch is a sand tick tabby with gold eyes. He is thoughtful and a fantastic healer. And I'm assuming he joined the clan because no one else wanted him as a healer because I guess he was a rogue or something. Maybe he was a previous kitty pet. I'm thinking of him as a himbo, a pretty nice sunshine guy who was helping out Rye. And his previous mate was a Bengal, probably, because his kits are both Bengals. We'll get to them later. Cougarpaw, meanwhile, is a marbled, kind of violet-y colored tabby longhair, because of the way the sprites look. He's got pale green eyes, and he's wise, and that's about it. He's still kind of figuring out the medic thing, because he's only 9 moons old. Remember when I was saying that I paired up warriors based on their platonic relationship? Because I just been sending them out randomly and not intentionally sending pairs out trying to ship them or anything. Well, Spider Ice and Chestnut Watcher happen to have a strong platonic relationship. Probably because in the beginning, when I was actually thinking about sending them out, I intermittently sent them out the most. So now they're mates. And Spider Ice had 4 dreams from StarClan. I don't know what that's gonna deal with. Maybe it's the fact of the extinction event chance that I ticked on being a thing in this coming year. And she's just about the same. Maybe a little bit stressed out by Chestnut's shenanigans. Because Chestnut Watcher went and just bit a fox in the throat, trying to scare it away, on 3 separate occasions. And which is, yeah, that's kind of on brand for her because she's adventurous and would totally do that. But Spider Ice is scared for her, and Chestnut's like, no, it's fine. And I'm probably going to continue to make her do that. They are now 118 and 110 moons, respectively. Don Dapple hasn't really done much in the whole time, this whole year, outside of snapping at Flipstar, probably over the kits, like a moon after it happened, so moon 4. And he did here and there help out with different hunting things and patrols, but I don't remember what they were. I did not document them. I think that he may have helped out with some dog stuff. Also, I'm just going to assume that his eyes have just slowly turned blind, and now he was already kind of a loner, but even more so now. And I'm headcanoning him as autistic, which is why he doesn't like crowds that much. Oh, I know, his name is Don Ripple. I'm going to keep messing that up. Now we got Thorne and Samtail, who I am combining because they came into the clan almost a moon apart from each other. Where Thorne is a Lynx Point Tom with green eyes. He joined the clan moon 3, and they were the same moon, that's right. And he, along with Big Spots and probably Don Dapple, saved Samtail from a dog. And then Samtail proceeded to get attacked by a hawk and got some cool scars. Thorne I actually didn't get any of his personality information on my document, so I'm just going to assume that he is a no-nonsense guy. And then Samtail is ambitious, a good speaker, and he was formerly a kitty pet. Probably similar to the rest of the group, was like, I want to get in on this action, oh god, a dog. And he's boastful. Kind of like Stonedrop. I actually skimmed the relationships, and I don't know if he and Stonedrop actually get along with each other. I'm sure in time we'll see what their deal is, and also just a general vibe of like what Thorne's deal is. And just, I don't know, I'm interested to see how these guys end up going with the rest of the clan. Speaking of Stonedrop, they were turned into a warrior a moon in, I going to keep messing that up. And he's still a boastful little bugger. And he's got a strong platonic like on Breeze Whisker. Probably because I would send them out once they were like apprentice aged with another cat that was they have a decent relationship. And I'm thinking maybe he was crushing on Breeze Whisker a little bit, but it turned out to be unrequited, and honestly, he doesn't seem to be too worried about it, far as I know. But I also don't really look too hard on the relationship stuff, since I'm playing classic mode, and I'm not really sure what that means compared to expanded mode. But overall, he hasn't really changed much. Although, here I am editing it now and realizing, oh, wait a second, they're old enough to be mentor and apprentice. No wonder it didn't work out. Ew. And right smack dab in the middle of the original group, we have Donuts. She is a gray, medium fur, single-striped she-cat. She's got blue eyes, a yellow collar, and lonesome and a good fighter, so I'm imagining her as someone who is ready to fight people at any point in protecting her kits, which we'll see later. And the clan's like, hey, we're fine, so I'm just imagining she's the one who will, like, fight anything that pops up in patrols. Outside of that, I don't really have any strong opinions on her just yet. Next up, we have Big Spots and Sorrowfeather, who are 22 and 19 moons respectively, and I decided to pair them up because the same strong platonic like rule. And that was the only thing that really happened to the two of them. And Big Spots assisted with the dog event that earned Breeze Whisker his name. We'll get to that when we get to Breeze Whisker. And I'm assuming he and Sorrowfeather, Sorrowfeather has moth wings on his ear now. I'm assuming he and Sorrowfeather are like the couple where Big Spots is still pretty quiet, and then Sorrowfeather is an anxious wreck, but is chilled out by the fact that Big Spots is so quiet. They kind of equal each other out. It's great. Next up is Palebird, who was brought into the clan pretty early on as a kit because his mother, who I guess was a kitty pet or a rogue, was like, I can't deal with this. Can you guys take care of him? And, of course, we were like, yeah, sure. And he's mates with Breeze, and was saved from a river by Chestnut earlier before that, where she was saved by Chestnut Watcher from the river, and then became mates with Breeze over something that I'm going to explain in just a second when I get to Breeze. So, Breeze Whisker is 12 moons old, patient, and extremely smart, and there was a big dog in the territory that they were like, oh no, and I was afraid it would kill them, but Big Spot and Palebird were in the middle of this patrol with him, and they did the chase down type of thing where they led the dog away from camp and then made it back, and Breeze Whisker was the final step. That's what it was. So I'm imagining the whole sequence of Palebird and Big Spots being very glad he's okay, and Palebird immediately coming over and, like, nudging him, in, like, the same way that someone would, like, run over and kiss someone because they're so excited they're fine, and then they're like, I'm sorry, I didn't realize, and then, like, now they're dating, so it's very cute. And as I've been doing this, I keep flipping Pale Bird's gender, so what if they're just gender fluid now? Let's just roll with that. And we have the only 2 apprentices next, who happen to be Flipstar's kits, Sparkpaw and Golpa, who are Cougarpaw's sisters. Sparkpaw is the gray and white one, and she got, like, a nettle around her neck as, like, a accessory, and I don't really have any strong personality ideas for her. She is strange, so I'm just assuming that she's just one of the, like, the quiet neurodivergent people that like textures, and just doesn't really, like, her vibes are weird, because she's still getting used to it, and as she goes along, she'll figure herself out. And then Golpa is thoughtful, and she said she was stressed over her training at some point, so I'm just taking that as, like, she might have an anxiety disorder or something, I don't know. Outside of that, I don't really have anything on them, probably because they're still pretty young, and I'll just keep tabs on them as we go through the next year. Next up, we have Marsh Kit and Curly Kit, who are Finch's kids. They're both 4 moons old. Marsh Kit is bossy, and Curly Kit is an attention seeker, which probably, like, feeds into each other. Like, one's trying to get attention, the other's just being rude, and they're just going back and forth. Yeah, like, you know, Curly Kit's constantly getting underfoot, and Marsh Kit's bossing other kits around. It's still another couple moons before they actually become apprentices, so I think that's when things are going to get interesting. And for the last kits, we have Sun, Crag, and Slope Kit, who are Donut's kids. They're all male. And Sun Kit's another Sakoke tabby, long hair, amber eyes. And Sun Kit's a sweet little thing. Crag Kit's the tan cat in the middle, who is a polite lad. And then Slope Kit is insecure and blue-gray, and they're only a moon old. They don't really have any strong personalities. That's about it on them so far. And then we have Kittillinger, who is a rogue that we missed and is now part of the list if you look at the cats outside of the clan, who's like a dark blue bangle, pale green eyes, and there's 3 options of him. He might be Finch's mate, the one who gave the bangle kits to him. He might be Flipstar's secret mate. I feel like he's at least related to Stonedrop, like either his father or like some family uncle sort of situation. I don't know what his deal is. Maybe we'll actually get him to get in the clan this year. We'll see how it works out. So that's year 1, the first full year of everything. And I'm interested to see where this next year goes, because I have turned on extinction events. And that's the only new thing that's going on, because I'm going to accept everyone that comes in. I'm going to kind of pair people up. And maybe we'll get a ton of kits, because population tends to explode when you do that. You know, like as is what usually happens with cats. And we're going to see how it works out. So I'll see you guys in the next one whenever that drops. It might not be a week, it might be 2 weeks. Like, we'll see how it works out. See you guys in the next one of this.